Giants Live World Open taking place this Saturday, the 6th of August. We have 12 incredible athletes and we are here to give you our competition predictions. Auntie Liz, 12 awesome athletes coming over for this one. Different lineup again than we've seen in a lot of these Giants Live shows. We did the deadlifts yesterday. Yes. Let's focus on the full competition. So we have 5 events, 12 athletes, as one of the athletes is just coming for the deadlift. And the 5 events are deadlift for max. We have the loading event, which is a farmer's walk into 3 objects to be loaded. We have the front hold, we have the 150 kilo log for reps, and we have the Atlas stones. And we have a fly.
Is he on the line? Can you see it? So a quick rundown of the athletes competing then. We have Evan Singleton, Gabriel Pena, Pavlo Nakonechnyy, Oleksii Novikov, Rauno Heinla, Peiman Maheripour, Mitch Hooper, Gav Bilton, Graham Hicks, Makarov, Asku Caro, and Pa O'Dwyer. An interesting mix of athletes.
It is very different to a number of the shows that we've seen in the past. This is obviously a very stacked deadlift group of athletes for obvious reasons. First event is the deadlift for max. We went through that yesterday. Yeah. I think in terms of the strongman competition, the 2 main characters to watch out for are Rauno and Graham Hicks. I think those 2 are on paper the biggest deadlifters. Out of the guys that I think will be in contention for the overall title. Yeah. The 2 that the deadlift could mean the most to are Oleksii Novikov and Evan Singleton.
What about Mitch Schuper though?
Mitch Hooper is coming for the record.
Yeah, so he's 455, 505.
Mitch
same
Hooper,
as Pavlo Nakonechnyy.
Yeah, I think Mitch could do well, but Mitch has the added challenge that he's really focused on the deadlift for this. Plus, training-wise, we focused more on the Shore Classic, which is the following week, and then really important for him this year is Canada's Strongest Man, which is a few weeks after. So he's got a very busy schedule. And in terms of trying to peak for everything, it's almost impossible. So we focused on the deadlift for this event. I think if he goes and pulls the 505, he's going to be in a great position, and he'll probably keep trying. I think he's just got to take one event at a time, see how his body feels, because managing that fatigue is going to be important. And I think for those reasons, and we've spoken about this privately, this competition isn't so important in terms of overall. He is here for the deadlift and to focus solely on that.
And he has already qualified for next year's World's Strongest Man.
He's already
came
second at the Strongman Classic, so he's got his qualification for Worlds. Shore Classic is a big competition for him next week. This is all about the deadlift for him, so that's why I'm not featuring him in my top 3 for this contest.
So it's interesting because there are 3 other athletes that are doing both: Gabe Pena, Evan Singleton, and Oleksii Novikov. Not so sure about Gabe, but I know Evan and Oleksii will not hold back at all because they don't have it in them to hold back. They're not the type of people that can hold back.
No, Evan won't be holding back in the slightest. I mean, Evan, I think, is a real threat for this competition.
Yeah,
he needs that 1,000-pound deadlift.
Yeah,
that is going to be important for him. I think Novikov needs a 1,000-pound deadlift. I think Rauno and Hicksy both need the 475.
Yeah.
So event number 2 is the farmers into the loading.
Yeah.
Now this one could be really interesting. The guy that stands out for me in any type like this is Novikov. Novikov is so rapid, very, very quick, but also so is Evan.
Yes.
Evan's a little bit more accident prone in terms of potentially could make a mistake, but he is exceptionally fast.
Evan has had the benefit of training on this kit as well, and I know it's a little bit of a touchy subject, but it makes a difference, doesn't it?
Absolutely. And we had this conversation with him, and we've seen people kind of say, oh, it shouldn't be fair. Giants Live do allow anyone to come and train on the kit, so that needs to be made clear. It's not like they favour some people.
No.
Anyone can go and train on the kit.
Yeah. Whether or not everyone's physically able to.
This is the thing. Some athletes just physically won't be able to, leave their families at home and stop working and just go and train. Whereas some athletes will, sacrifice that to enhance their strongman careers and stuff. It's a very difficult. I probably would have early on in my career.
Yeah.
Like when I was younger, in my 20s, on the way up, I didn't have responsibilities. Sure, I would have made a trip for a month and trained if I had that opportunity. Now, it wouldn't be right for me to do things like that. So it all comes down to the personal athlete.
Would you prefer to see it all under lock and key? I think I would. And that's not a slight on anyone, but if you want a fair playing field, that's the only way. Put it under lock and key.
Yeah, I do totally understand that kind of thought process. It's a very difficult subject, I guess, because everyone does have the opportunity. Not everyone has the ability.
Yes.
So to make it a fair playing field, it would be best that no one could. But I see things from both sides, and if I had the opportunity myself,
you would have taken that advantage. Of course, you would have. Yeah. Anyway, we digress.
Yeah, that could be for another day. But I think Hicks can do well on this. He needs to be focusing on third to fourth place, I think.
Yeah, he used to be really fast at loading.
He's still pretty quick, and I think the fact that it's not the longest distance will suit him. He's still quick.
10 metres, isn't it? So, and this is something that is pleased Rauno, because obviously it's 150 farmers, which isn't too heavy for him, and he can hook grip for 10 metres, so he's not too worried about the grip.
If it was a long distance on farmers, he'd probably be more worried. I think he knows he can manage this. So if he can get through that farmers, he's fast as well. Yeah. And it's not the longest loading event in the world, so I think that favours them a bit. If it was more endurance based, probably favour the likes of Novikov even more. Yeah, because he is a fitter athlete. But
someone else to watch on this event, Pavlo Nakonechnyy. Now he's incredibly good at farmers, and he's one of those big guys that can move very quickly. But we saw last year at the carry and drag, a little bit accident prone, so maybe just the sort of momentum of the occasion got to him a little bit of inexperience. Yeah,
there's been a few competitions with him now where he's made rookie mistakes. I think he made a mistake on the log in the Middle East Strongest Man. He clearly had the power,
but he didn't put his head through.
Wasn't listening to the rules and stuff like that. So those are areas I want to see improvements from him to be challenging the top guys.
Yeah.
But for me, the top two on this event is Novikov and Evan.
That's fair.
So next event is the log for reps, 150 kilos, floor to overhead. For me, there is only one winner on this event, Mr. Graham Hicks. There's no Iron Bibby, there's no Luke Stoltman. He is by far the clear favourite when it comes to log pressing, I believe, in this lineup.
Yeah, agreed. There's some good log lifters. I mean, Evan was improving a lot, but then he had his shoulder issues. He's looking okay in training now. He
sounds more confident with it.
Yeah.
I think Oleksii is very consistent. Novikov, he'll put in a solid performance.
Yeah.
Rauno's looks strong. He's been one motioning this type of weight.
Rauno, you just don't know what bloody technique he's going to use. Is he going to one motion?
He's got the power. He just needs to make sure he's getting the down signal.
Clean lockout,
And will fitness affect him a little bit?
Possibly,
He's not the fittest he's ever been in the world. He's looking powerful.
He's so funny. He's like, I'm very fat. But he's like 140 kilos. He's still one of the lightest, if not the lightest guy there. But
we mentioned Pavlo Nakonechnyy has made mistakes on log, but he is a very strong presser.
Yes.
So again, could get good points. If Evan's shoulder is 100%, he could challenge. I don't believe he's back to 100%.
No.
But from what I've seen and when we spoke to him last week, he did look much better.
Yeah.
There was clear improvements from the last time we saw that shoulder.
Definitely.
The two other athletes I think worth watching on the log if they focus on the whole show. Mitch Hooper's log is improving very quickly. He's made 190, 200 kilos up very comfortable, and he's training for a heavier log for reps in the Shore Classic, so may use this as a good training session. And Peiman is a good log presser.
Yeah.
It's just, what are we going to see with Peiman? It's so long since we've seen him in a full strongman competition. Very, very hard to predict. But
can he get here? We still don't know.
Fingers crossed. Then we move on to the front hold. Now, this is an interesting one because last year this event was won by Gav Bilton.
It was, yeah, and he had to go out first. He was the pacemaker for it.
He had to go out first. Now, Gabe isn't the best when it comes to overhead pressing events.
No.
So when they did the Viking press last year, he didn't do so well. It gave him a bit of rest, to be honest, in the shoulders so that he could do the front hold. Now, it's weird. being a good presser doesn't transition to being good at the front hold.
No.
It's a weird event that it's just leverage and then coping with pain. Just holding it for as long as possible. Then on top of that, cheating as much as you can until the referee says put it down. We trained with Hicksy last week.
He looks very good for it, doesn't he?
Well, I think Hicksy would take an advantage from it being heavier.
Definitely, yeah. So if it goes into the sort of minute-long mark, is it not a strength issue? It's just tired, maybe. I don't know.
It's a real hard one to predict.
It's hard to see anyone beating him, though. When you look, this is quite a similar lineup to last year's Giants Live World Open. And what was the winning time last year?
I think it was like high 40s, and it was by Gabe.
Yeah.
Obviously, the event selection can impact that performance. I mean, Hicksy looks good for 50 to 60 seconds.
Yeah, and after an overhead as well. I mean, you know, Hicksy, I expect him to do the most reps on that overhead, but when you're naturally gifted at something, it doesn't take as much out of you, does it?
No, I don't think it will be too bad for him. I think he'll be able to put in a solid time. Obviously, if he's done well on those earlier events as well, he'll want to do a good time, which makes a big difference. When you're in that position of, I'm challenging for the title, you find a few extra seconds.
Yeah.
So, could be a real hard one to predict.
And it could really mix things up, because this is an event that Pavlo did badly on last year. He was like 22 seconds or something like that.
Even as well, not so good on this type of event. Evan Singleton will have been practicing it. Could that shoulder be an issue? I would expect the shoulder to be more of an issue on this for him than the log. So hopefully the shoulder is fully recovered. Big Gav Bilton. Big crowd there screaming him on. I'm sure he's going to want to hold it.
It's such a hard one.
Do you know what?
Predict.
Rauno could be good at this as well.
Yeah.
He's got shorter leverages. He's done these type of events many times.
Has he got shorter leverages?
In his arms. Yeah, he's not like when you compare him to, say, a Mitch Hooper.
He's not gangly arms.
No. His whole leverage proportion is very good for deadlifting, but he's not like a gorilla-armed guy that just has stupidly long arms.
Really long arms, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Paro Dwyer's got experience on the front hold. It's a tough one to predict. And Oleksii,
he's good at everything.
Yeah.
He's not the best,
he's not the best
at
it,
like
but
this, but
it's probably not an event he'd choose.
No.
It's not an event I'd choose. I think the front hold. The front hold's a weird one. It's sort of like a rest event. It's tough mentally, but it's not like it doesn't take it out of your body like the max deadlift will, or carrying a shield for distance or stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's almost like you get that pump in the shoulders, but then it's done, and you're like, oh, okay, my body's okay.
Yeah.
You could train it regularly in the gym if you wanted to, but yeah, this could be the event that just throws the spanner in the works. Who knows? I think if Hicksy wants to challenge for the title, he needs a top 2 finish on it. And then obviously, as it's Giants Life tradition, the Atlas Stones to finish off with 5 Atlas Stones ranging from 120 to 180/200.
Oh, hopefully the heavier set. Darren said, I was like, you're going to use the heavier set, right? I think you should use the heavier set. He said he'll take them both and let the athletes decide.
He's going to let the athletes decide. I think the athletes will choose the heavier set.
I think so too. I guess that's the right thing to do. But
and again, I mean, for me, I would say the top guys to look out for on the stones. Evan Singleton really pulled himself back into the competition on the stones at the Royal Albert Hall. The stones have been solidly improving. Yeah. Novikov, good solid stone lifter, particularly great experience now with this set of stones. Gav Bilton is a great stone lifter. Yeah. And I think being in his hometown, in front of the Welsh crowd, he will want to put on a performance.
Pavlo Nakonechnyy is very good at stone lifting as well. He was good last year.
He was good last year as well, and I'd like to see him on the heavier set. Yeah. No one stands out in this lineup as a mammoth stone lifter. No. So it's not
got like a Maxime or a Tom or something like that in it. No.
So it could come down to what position. I mean, Hicksy is good at stones. He's done some fast times at Britain's Strongest Man. Rauno's done some good stones. This will all be about who is battling for position going into the stones. Yeah. For me, I think the competition is going to come down to Oleksii Novikov, Evan Singleton,
and Graham Hicks.
And then I think guys like Rauno and Pavlo are worth looking out for.
Could round off the top 5.
Yeah.
It's so hard. I feel like every competition it gets harder to predict because the depth and talent is so much greater. There's not a huge gap between the top guys and the guys that come in last.
I mean, there's so many question marks with this one. Mitch Hooper, if he focuses on the comp, I think can do really well.
Yeah.
It's just, he's got to be selective now with so many comps coming up. Peiman, if he gets over here, Peiman's got some great events.
Yeah, but and him.
It's just not been proven at a Giants Live yet.
And there's so much we don't know. Pavlo Nakonechnyy, how's his training going? Asko Caro, where the hell even is he? Do you know what I mean? You can't predict these people when you don't know.
Pa will be solid, you know, and his Pa has experience with the Giants Live arenas.
But he's late to call up, so
so he's only had a couple of weeks to train for it. It's a very, very difficult competition to predict. I think even Makarov focuses on the deadlift. There's so many question marks when it comes to this comp, but we have to pick our predictions.
Right. Okay, I'm gonna go.
Go on, go for it.
I think Graham wins. I think Graham first place, Oleksii second place, Evan third. And I think maybe, I don't know what order, but Rauno and Pavlo 4th and 5th.
Interesting.
I'll go Rauno because he's my friend. Or Pavlo 5th. But I do think that Graham and Rauno are going to have big advantages coming out of the deadlift into the main competition based on what we said yesterday. Watch that here and it will explain everything.
To be honest, if you guys watch the deadlift prediction, if it does go down like that, they will have a big advantage because so many guys could end up tying on 1,000 pounds.
Yeah, especially the guys that want the 505 that will skip the 475. We think Graham and Rauno will do and get 475.
So that will give them huge points.
Yeah.
I tend to agree with you. I think if Hicksy can win a Giants Live, it's this one.
Ah, man, Hicksy, he's like, we've been talking about and thinking about Hicksy this last week or so, but Hicksy's one of those, his results record doesn't do him justice.
No.
He's better than his record would suggest. He's got one Britain's Strongest Man win, and outside of, like obviously he was an under 105 world champion, but that's his biggest result in
Britain's Strongest Man. He's been on the podium at Europe's once,
I think,
possibly twice actually.
Maybe twice.
But he is a worthy big show winner.
He is. He should, he deserves an international winner.
I don't think anyone deserves it. You've got to do it. But I think he's capable, and
yes,
this could well be the show for Hicksy. So I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to go Hicksy first. I'm going to say Oleksii Novikov second. I'm going to say Evan third. This is where it's hard. I think Mitch could challenge. It depends.
Mitch, I'm working on the assumption that
he's focused on the deadlift.
That he might end up pulling out of the competition, to be honest.
And I think Rauno, from what I've seen, Rauno's in shape.
Yeah. You don't know what to expect from Rauno, though.
If Rauno's in shape, he's a threat.
There are some good events for him, and like we said, he could have that massive points advantage after the first
And you know
round.
what? I'm going to go for Gav Bilton in 5th.
Interesting.
I haven't seen anything of Pavlo, and from the experience, he's made mistakes in a lot of competitions.
Yeah. I mean, he was 4th in this competition last year.
He was. I think Gav has made improvements since then, and I think it's a better looking set of events for him.
Fair.
His log is looking solid. His deadlift's looking better. I think stones are great. Stones are a great event for Gav.
Yeah.
Needs to dig deep on the front hold, and I think he's been working hard on his fitness. Last year, I criticised Gav for almost giving up on the drag.
Yes.
And I don't think he's going to let that happen.
No.
In your
mental
he's dropped some weight. He looks fitter. I think he can put in a solid performance on that.
Yeah.
If he does, go on, Gav, get in there and get that top 5.
Nice predictions. Well done.
There we go. So we're agreeing on our top 3, which is nice.
Top 4.
Top 4. There we go. Right, guys. As always, let us know your predictions. A very tough one. So many factors. The deadlift could just throw spanners in the works.
Yeah.
Lots of interesting events. Lots of unknowns with certain athletes. Can Peiman get over? Is he even going to focus just on the deadlift? There's so many factors, but We have given you our predictions. Let us know yours in the comments down below. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to the channel. Very quickly, Auntie Liz, where can people watch this if they can't make the show?
Do you know what? Giants Live have reduced the price of the live stream. It's now back down to, I think, $4.99, and it's available on Facebook. It's this Saturday and it starts at 5 p.m. Link in the description below, or you can subscribe to officialstrongman.com, and that's a monthly subscription where you get to watch all the shows. There are, I think, some tickets available still, so I'll include a link down below as well.
Take it easy, guys. We'll see you soon.